All right. So, like I said, I am Sally Baker. I am from Family Connection. I am our Director of Education here at Family Connection. And this afternoon, we're going to be talking a little bit about our just kind of who we are and about our education program here at Family Connection. If you have questions, please feel free to unmute, to raise your hand, to pop them in the chat, whatever works best for you. I'd love to be able to help answer your questions and let you know as much as you want to know about our program. So first today, I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself, and then we'll tell you a little bit about Family Connection in general, and then we'll dig into the education program here. So I am born and raised here in Columbia, and I am the mom of two wild boys. I have one that is soon to be 7, and I have a 3.5-year-old. So I've got two two rambunctious wild ones at my house. I'm sure like the rest of you, summer has been fun, especially the last couple of weeks when it's been so hot. Keeping them entertained and excited throughout the summer. And I'm approaching going into first grade. And so making that transition and what that entails and how that looks. And so using some of what I do here at Family Connection to also help myself as we embark on this new part of our lives. So Family Connection, so you guys, there we go. We are a parent-to-parent center. So we are a parent center, which means that the majority of our staff are, by law, we are required to be parents. So about 80% of our staff are parents of children with a disability or a special health care need. So we can help provide some of that lived experience. Family Connection has been around to provide that parent-to-parent support for over 30, let's see, we're coming up on 33 years now. We started way back in 1989 with some parents who have children with disabilities and special needs, and they realized that their source of hope and strength was talking to other parents like themselves. And so they wanted to embrace that and provide that to other family members around the state. And so Family Connection was started, and over 30 years later, we're still here providing that parent-to-parent support. What you see on your screen here is some of the federal designations that Family Connection has. And I go over this really briefly just because I think it's important for you to know why we exist and how we exist in order to provide our services. So we are able to provide, we have the designation of being a parent-to-parent center. And so we are able to provide matching parents to other parents who have lived experience, who have similar lived experience, so that you guys are able to talk to each other and just talk about what life is like raising someone with a certain diagnosis or disability, and just being able to provide that emotional support to each other. We also are your Family to Family Health Information Center for the state of South Carolina through the Family Voices designation there. And this allows us to help you navigate healthcare and all of that entails. So Medicaid, TEFRA, private insurance, kind of what does that look like? And then you can see the bottom here is our designation for our Parent Training and Information Center of South Carolina. The Federal Department of Education says that every state must have at least one PTI. And so we have been the PTI for the last 8 years. And we're really proud of that designation. And that is what allows us to do things like we're doing today, to come to you and talk to you at no cost, to provide our one-on-one support to families at no cost. And so we're not disability specific. We branch across all disabilities. And we serve families who have children birth to 26 years old across the state of South Carolina. So in just a second, I'm going to click to the next screen, and I'm going to show you just a really short video that kind of tells you a little bit about all of our programs that are available, and then we're going to dig into that education program that we have here. All right. And if for some reason you guys cannot hear, someone will unmute and let me know.
Family Connection is the Parent Training and Information Center for the state of South Carolina. We are the largest family-serving organization in our state, offering programs and trainings to all 46 counties at no cost to families. Our employees are parents of children or youth with a disability, chronic health condition, or behavioral health diagnosis. Our services include collaborating with parents on how to prepare for special education meetings, including the Individualized Education Plan, 504, and Individualized Family Service Plan, assisting parents in navigating the systems of medical care and insurance coverage for their children with disabilities or special health care needs, matching parents seeking information and support with mentor parents, and providing programs and services addressing a variety of needs. We host workshops, conferences, webinars, and trainings for parents, youth, and professionals throughout the year. Our staff offers one-on-one assistance to increase parent and family understanding of the education process. Having a child with a disability or special health care needs means parents face questions about medical care, insurance, and service options. Our healthcare team answers questions regarding Medicaid, TEFRA, appeals, and managed care information. We can provide applications and support in person or over the phone. For more than 30 years, Family Connection has been making connections, raising awareness, and promoting inclusion for those with disabilities or specialized health care needs. Family Connection is there for every milestone of a child's journey from birth to adulthood.
So that is a little, like I said, a quick snapshot on who Family Connection is. And also just, I like to say it and put it out there that the faces that you saw in that video and the faces you see behind me on my screen are faces of children in South Carolina. They're children that we have served and we've worked with, and we are really proud of promoting that awareness and inclusion through our videos and our pictures that we have. So next, oops, that's going to start again. Next, we're going to dig into the Education Partner Program. And this is our education program that we have here at Family Connection. It's actually the program that I work most directly with. I have a background in special education. Like I said, I'm a mom. And most of our staff have some type of background, they're all parents, but some of them have a background in education. Some of them don't. Some of them came to us as parents who had used our services, and we have done some training and we have learned, and they've learned through their own journeys more about special education. And so we're here truly to support families. We want you guys to be your own best advocates. We want you to be able to go into your meetings and feel comfortable asking for what you think you might need or what your child might need. We want you to know your rights and responsibilities when you go into the schools. We want you to know what the school's rights and responsibilities are so that we know what questions we can ask. When we know what the school's obligations are, then we know that we can ask for certain services, or that maybe if we ask for certain services, that's not within the school's purview and they're not allowed to do those types of things. And we need to go a different route and maybe ask a different agency for some support. So you can see here on the slide, these are kind of our overall goals of our program. We want to help increase parents' knowledge in the special education process. We want to increase your skills and how to effectively communicate with the school. And we want to increase your ability to be an active participant in your child's education. It's really important to be engaged and to be a part of your child's education journey, wherever that may be. You may be at the very beginning, like myself, and kind of figuring it out. You may be a veteran and your child is now in high school and you've done this for a long time, but maybe the diagnosis is new, or maybe you guys need different supports than you needed in elementary and middle school. So that's, we really are going to meet families wherever you are, whatever your needs are. That's where we're going to start our conversations. So what happens, I'm just going to kind of talk you through the process of what happens. If you yourself make the referral, you give us a call at our 800 number, or you put in a referral on our website, or maybe a provider puts it in for you, and we give you a call, and we're just going to kind of talk to you and figure it out. What's going on today? What's happening at school that's made you concerned or that you have questions about? Has your child received a lot of behavior referrals recently and you aren't really sure what to do next or how to support them? And you think maybe there's a diagnosis and we need to explore that and see how do you get an evaluation done. Like I mentioned, maybe you've done this for a lot of years, but now there's a change, there's a shift, and you need some different accommodations, or you have different questions because it's a new team and you've gone from elementary to middle school and you're not really sure what it looks like in middle school, what the services look like. Maybe you feel like you've had a meeting and you just couldn't quite get your voice heard, or you couldn't quite get your questions asked in a way that you were able to get the answers that you were looking for. We're really going to just do what you see kind of on here in that intake and assessment process. What's going on? What's happening? And then we're gonna connect you to, if you're not already connected to an education partner or a family education specialist who maybe lives in your area and knows some different resources that are available in your area. We can, if you get to a point and you're like, hey, this has been really helpful, but I have a meeting coming and I really think that I need someone to go with me to a meeting. We can absolutely do that. Of course, it's dependent on schedules and availabilities, but we can absolutely attend a meeting with a family. If that's something that you're looking for, and that's the support that you need, we absolutely want you to be as prepared as possible walking into that meeting. We ourselves want to be prepared walking into the meeting. So we'll ask to look and review your child's IEP plan or their 504 plan, whichever your child has. If your child doesn't have a plan yet, we're going to get you prepped on that side of things too, and know how to approach the meeting and know what to expect in the meeting. But in that prep session, we're going to talk about things about, just like I said, what's going on? What are your questions? We're going to help you write out those questions, get your top maybe 2 or 3 priority questions or concerns written out so that you have that there and you're organized and you're ready to go into the meeting. And one of my biggest tips and tricks that I always give is, when you write those questions down in advance before the meeting, leave yourself room to write the answer when you ask the question. So many times I think we all do this, right? Like, we write down our questions and we line by line by line, and then you get in there and they answer it. And you're like, oh, I don't have anywhere to write that, or you write it on another piece of paper and you don't remember what question it was answering. So leave yourself space to write your answers when they ask them, or when you ask them and they answer you. So by you doing that, and by us as our education partner working with you and knowing what your questions are, when you get into the meeting, you feel a little bit more confident. Maybe you've rehearsed asking that question a little bit. You've talked with your education partner and you figured out a way to ask it in a way that makes sense. Or maybe you get in there and you are the parent, and sometimes, guys, especially mamas, right? Our emotions might run high and we might get a little choked up because we're moms and we're parents and we want what's best for our child. And so if we can get in there and our emotions get a little high, or I can see, as if I'm your education partner and I can see that you're starting to get emotional, maybe I can help ask for, hey, can we take a 5-minute break or a 2-minute break just to take a breather, just to kind of regather our thoughts and come back to the table. Or maybe I can say, hi, I worked with Miss Smith last night and we were preparing for this, and I think kind of our next question is this, right? So we're going to be able to help you kind of continue the forward momentum in your meetings. We do not come in as someone who is going to force the school into doing something. We truly are your support system. We're there to provide that emotional support to you, to provide that second set of ears to hear what's being said, so that when you get out of the meeting and you're processing all of it, we're going to process it with you. We're going to make sure that you heard what they said and that you understood what they said, right? Just like the healthcare world has kind of its own language and lingo, so does special education. And so we know that it has its own lingo. And when it does, sometimes we forget to ask for clarification of what are those letters mean? If someone says, yeah, I think we should do an FBA. Okay, great. And you've kind of talked about it, but then you forgot to ask, what do those letters mean? So sometimes your education partner might be the one that'll speak up and say, hey, could you tell me a little bit more about what an FBA is and what do those letters stand for and what does that mean? So we can help the conversations continue to move forward that way. And then after the meeting's over, we're going to, like I said, we're going to process it with you. We're going to kind of make sure that you understood what happened, that you know what next steps are coming, or if there's something that you as a parent were supposed to do. Maybe you're supposed to reach out to your child's physician and get extra documentation or paperwork, or you forgot to bring something in that the team needed, and you want to bring that with you next time, or you have to send it into them, by email or something like that. We're going to help you to make sure that you heard all of those pieces and that we all have a game plan for moving forward. We're going to make sure, that you feel comfortable and confident in what happened. If maybe the team didn't agree to provide a specific accommodation that you asked for. We're going to make sure that you understand why they said that and that you have the proper documentation, or why they said no, and that you have the proper documentation to support yes or no on what they're doing next. All of this, we do this, like I mentioned kind of at the beginning, we are federally funded to do this. So we're able to do this for you at no cost. So all of our services are at no cost at any time. Everything that I've talked about so far and that we've talked about previously also is available in Spanish. So we can, if you're on today as a provider and you have a large population of families who speak Spanish, we can do that. We can provide this service in Spanish. If it's a language other than English and Spanish, we will find a way to communicate and provide that support. So that is like very, very basic of what our education program does. But we are truly here really to support you guys, meet you where you are, answer your questions, kind of keep the ball rolling. Maybe you have a question and you don't need anybody to go to a meeting with you. You just want to know more about what does the IEP mean? What are these sections of the IEP talking about? Or how do you read the different parts of it? That's what we're here for also. We're here to help answer the questions. Sometimes we get phone calls of families that are maybe frustrated with a process or feel that their voice hasn't been heard and they're ready to go talk to someone higher up at the district level or something like that. And or maybe you just don't know who to call. You have a question or a frustration. That's something else that we can help you with. We can say, hey, have you talked to your teacher yet? Or you've talked to your teacher, great. Now have you talked to this person? Have you called the director of special education services in your district? We can help you find who those people are if you don't know that answer. We're truly here to help you navigate the special education processes and systems that are out there, because they can be confusing, especially as you make those transitions, like I kind of alluded to earlier, when you're just coming into elementary school. So maybe your child had baby net services and now you're transitioning to elementary school and that looks different. Maybe you've now transitioned from elementary to middle. That's a big jump. That's a big difference. Same thing from middle to high school. We also can help at that exiting high school level. If you have questions about what happens when my child turns 18 or what do I need to be prepared for, those are things that we can help talk to you about and talk you through. So we're here honestly at any point of your educational journey with your child, and we are here to answer those questions. If you do have, a child who is a teenager or getting ready to transition out of high school, we would love to talk with your youth also. So if they have questions and they want to be on the phone when you call and talk to us, we'd love to do that. We're happy to help answer those questions that way as well. We have some really great resources available to help you. Sorry, I forgot to have this out ready. To help you get organized and help you kind of navigate through these processes. One of my favorite tools that we have is it's gonna be hard to do, our journey workbook. This workbook is a phenomenal resource because it is an opportunity for you to kind of organize. It's going to be hard to do on this with the background, but to organize kind of your notes, your thoughts, your tips for your child's team. To get to know your child, there's a section that's all about your student. So like who lives at home with them, if that's something you want to disclose. What do they like? What do they not like? What are some of their favorite things? What are some of their favorite foods? There's a place to talk about describing how your child interacts with other children and adults. For example, one of my children is pretty shy. He's a shy guy. He likes to kind of take in the area, know what's happening around him before he really warms up and starts to engage with others around him. Once he's warm and he's comfortable, he's engaged and he's great. But that might be something really important for a team to know, that my child's not being quiet and hiding out in the corner because they're not listening to you. They're taking it in, they're figuring it out, they're getting to know their surroundings. And then the next part of the workbook that I just showed you talks about healthcare. So it even has a place for you to list like your different doctors. There's a place to list your medications for your student and their side effects, which I think is important, because what if your child's medication has a side effect of drowsiness and you're getting phone calls every couple of days that your child's falling asleep in school? Maybe that's something that we can come back and we can talk about. Is there a way to redose that medication? Is there a way to administer it at a different time so that they're not sleepy in math class at the end of the day? And then the last section in the workbook is all about education. So it's all about the journey, and it has tips for how to prepare before your meeting, tips for things to do during your meeting to stay engaged and organized, things to do after the meeting to make sure that you're continuing in the right path. There's a section in here for you to be able to take notes during the meeting. And this is one of my favorite graphics. And this tells you, it gives you a place to write down all the people who attended your meeting. And it also indicates who is required to be there by law so that it is an effective IEP meeting. So all of this is in a really great toolkit for you that's available on our website. So this is available at no cost. This is a screenshot of a couple of other resources that we have that are available as well. All of these resources, again, are at no cost to you. They're on our website. You can quote unquote order them in that you just have to put in your name and your address so that we can mail you a hard copy version of it. It's also available as a PDF download. Any of these resources are. So they're there. You know, if you're on today and you're a provider and you want to be able to provide some of these resources to your families, please feel free to order some. There's some tip sheets on there as well. Those tip sheets are things about what is an IEP, understanding the basics of the IEP. There's information on FAPE, which is your free appropriate public education that your child is entitled to as part of IDEA, the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. There are the two that you see on your screen on the left side, these early transitions and your child's journey begins. This is kind of, if you have a younger child who's under 3, what to start thinking about as you transition out of baby net. What happens next, who and when and how and who pays for it, and different pieces of that information are all located in there. And then the one in the center is the workbook that I was just talking about that I told you about. So those are, you know, that's just a snapshot. There's a lot of other things on our website that are available to you. Our website is a really great source of information and resources and connections and different things that are available as well, different ways to understand special education. But that is a really quick, I know we're almost out of time, a really quick snapshot of who Family Connection is, what our education program does, and how it can support you guys. If you want more information or you want to talk with one of our family education specialists or education partners, you can contact us here on you can see our contact information on the screen now. We have an 800 number that is answered by a live person Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 5. Available, there's an English line and a Spanish line as well. And then you can also see our website there. And on our website, there at the top of our website, if you go, there's a button that says make a referral. I think it says make a referral. Maybe it says referral. There's referral up at the top. You'll click that, you'll enter in your information. If you're the parent, you just enter in your information and we will call you. We will reach out to you directly. If you're a provider and you're putting in a referral, we just ask that the family knows that you've made the referral for them. And then we'll call the family directly and check in and kind of see what's going on and make our, assess it and do the intake and get the process started. So that is us, that is me. I could talk about this for a really long time, but we have 30 minutes blocked out for today. And so I just wanted to give you guys a snapshot and hopefully you guys will reach out and we'll help you as we can. I see we've got one thing in the chat. If you guys have questions, please feel free to reach out. Again, my name is Sally Baker. You can always call and ask for Sally if you needed to talk to me directly, but one of our education specialists would absolutely be able to help answer your questions as well. So I'm going to take this down for a second and I'm going to check our chat. Oh, I see someone is logging off. Thank you for joining today. Are there any questions that I can help answer before we log off for today? And if you do have questions, I know we're recording, but we will cut the questions out at the end. So don't worry about that. If you have a question, feel free to unmute or raise your hand or type it in the chat. All right, I don't see anyone asking any questions at the moment, and that is totally fine. You guys, like I said, please feel free to reach out anytime. Thank you for logging on today, and we hope to talk with you soon. Have a great afternoon, everybody.